Hey, all you fit faith freedomers. It's Cami Kennedy here. Welcome to episode 15. I am calling this the Bali Waterfall Experience. So it has been about a month since I posted the last episode, and it's really because I went, some of you guys know, I went on a retreat to Bali at the end of July. And honestly, August was really a lot of applying the things that I learned from the retreat in Bali. So I'm not going to go into everything here. If you guys want to get the full video, you'll have to join my email list because I have a full video on my Bali experience, and you guys can connect with that and get the link by going to my website, camikennedy.com, and signing up there for my newsletter, and you'll be able to get that video and find out what Bali was all like. Now, the retreat was called Master Your Influence, but now it's actually going to be called Elevate, and they'll be doing their next event in October of 2018, and they have another one coming up in the spring of 2019, which I plan to be there. And if you don't know who these guys are, Joel Brown was really who I connected with, and he has a podcast called Addicted to Success, and he will be on Fit Faith Freedom podcast here shortly. So definitely go and take a look to see what episode he's on. But I wanted to talk to you really about the process of transformation, because I went to Bali with the full intention of coming back transformed. And I absolutely did. As you guys can see, if you're watching the video, you can see I now have pink hair. That was a big change. I cut off about 6 inches of hair and dyed it pink because that was my physical reminder of my transformation. And that was my reminder to say that I need to stop living for other people's expectations and what they expect of me and start doing me. So you do you, boo-boo, as they say. So there's 3 parts that I've come up with in the transformation process, and I think you can actually apply this to your life. I like to start with what's called a life wheel. And if you don't know what this is, just Google it. Google life wheel. Go ahead, do it right now, unless you're driving. And you're going to get this wheel. And there's going to be things written all around the outside, and there will be a level 1 through a level 10. The higher you get is on the outside of the circle, and you're going to rate yourself in each one of those areas. So for example, it might be faith, it might be physical or fitness, it might be nutrition, travel. All these areas you're going to rate from a number 1 to a number 10 and just see where you're at. So this is the first step. It's just the assessment. We don't know what we don't know, and sometimes we're just going through the motions of things and we didn't realize, like, holy cow, I actually feel like I'm at a level 3 in my relationship. Like, I knew it was bad, but when you actually put a number on it, it at least identifies, I call them opportunities. So if we have these opportunities and we have some lower numbers on there, that's where we would start. So that's it. I like to do it 2 ways. I like to do it where you currently are now. And then I also like to write notes of how you'd want to feel. Like if right now you're feeling crappy, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling unmotivated, like let's say for fitness, for example, I would write in words that I want to feel: confident, powerful, strong, consistent, just to give yourself a contrast so you don't get too depressed as you're going through this life wheel, because that's not the point. I like to call it a wheel of power because we're taking our power back just by looking at it. And just another example is by looking at your finances, you're able to see where you are. And you might say, ooh, I don't have as much money in the bank as I'd like to have, but at least I know where I'm at. Now I can allocate funds, I can set up a budget. So if we measure it, then we're able to have more control over it, and then we're able to track it for progression. Step number 2 is what I like to call attend. And it just sounds good. Assess and attend. So attend is attending, right? It's like, I like to go attending to your emotions. A lot of times, especially what I learned in Bali, is I went there for a business retreat. And what I learned is really how to get in touch with my emotions. And so it's interesting. I went there for one thing, and you might be looking at this life wheel saying, I want to get healthy, but you might find out that your finances are actually affecting your health, or your relationship is affecting your finances, or whatever. They're all interrelated. So you might do some discovery here. So we're attending and we're digging deeper through this. And attending to your limiting beliefs. And so that would be those beliefs that come up. And not many people are familiar with this term maybe, but it's those continuous thoughts that happen over and over again. So for me, what they were in the past were, I'm just like a fat person. Like I'm hungry all the time. Like I just love food. I can't control myself around snacks. And that was a limiting belief, but it also became, so our thoughts become our words, become our actions, right? So if we can at least identify what we're thinking, then we can stop us from claiming that and start to claim something different. So that attending is just to identify what's coming up for us, and then we want to redirect that into something else. So for example, with the example that I use, I would start saying, I'm learning to trust myself when it comes to food portions. That's an empowering statement, and it's true. So it's not like you're saying like, oh no, I'm not really hungry. I eat like a bird. That's not true. That your subconscious is going to reject that and throw it out right away. So when we're assessing and we're starting getting into the recreation process, we want to pick things that feel true for us, but are just on the next path down. So for example, I started claiming that I was a morning person, and I didn't really believe it, but I would smile and I wouldn't deny it. So people that didn't know me, they would say, are you a morning person? I'd be like, yes, I am a morning person. And I would just smile and claim it. To me, it kind of felt like a lie, but it also, to me, it felt like confirmation, because they would be asking me in the mornings if I'm a morning person, and I would respond, yes, I am, with a smile, and they were convinced I was. So at least I was faking it until I could make it in that space of being a morning person, which was really just putting on a good attitude in the morning, even if I didn't have coffee, or even if people wanted to talk to me a lot, which is not something that I would do in the past. So when we get into the recreation space, you want to just start writing down anything that you can think of that's empowering. And this also comes down to not only thoughts, but habits and structures. Structures was a big word that I latched onto in Bali, because as you guys know, this podcast used to be called Rule Breaker Lifestyle. I didn't want to have any rules or systems in place, which is ironic because systems is what helps you be successful. So I really liked the word structure in setting up yourself for success. So for example, one structure you can use is if every single day you write a to-do list and it's 80,000 miles long, let's reduce the to-do list to 3 things. You can get 3 things done, make them your top priority things, and then that way you're not going to be stressed and overwhelmed, because what would happen with me when I had too long of a list, I wouldn't do anything. So let's pick 3 things and get those 3 things done. So it's a structure to set you up for success. And then every day you can knock out your to-do list probably quicker, because you're spending less time being confused on what to do, and you actually just end up doing the action. Another structure that I demonstrated this morning was I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, didn't feel great on this Monday morning, and got up and went through my morning routine anyway, because I knew it was a structure that supported me having an excellent day. So I went, took my dogs out, listened to songs right away that were empowering and uplifting, listened to a little bit of an audiobook, went and did my prayer, meditation, and journaling. It didn't change anything. That's not the point. The point is not to just, it's going to make your day better. It's you're doing the systems and the structures in place. And so the meditations did help. It did get me to a better level. I wasn't exuberantly happy, but had I not done that, my day probably would have went differently. And I probably wouldn't be recording a podcast right now. I'd probably be laying on the couch eating bonbons. So the structure I set up helped me with my morning. I also went and did my workout. My workout is now such a structure that I couldn't wait to get there. I went and joined a gym. And you guys, I'm a nutrition coach, personal trainer, mindset coach, and I am going and setting up structures to support me, because I know I can't just do this on willpower. I have to have structures in place for when I don't feel like doing something. So for example, I had been working out in my garage gym for this entire year since January, and it's now September. And that was working fine. I was doing 20 minutes a day. But for me, it wasn't getting me the results. I'm ready to shift gears. I'm ready to take my physique up a level. I'm ready to get into running. I'm really challenging my mindset in these areas. And for me, hiding in my garage for 20 minutes was kind of letting me off the hook. So now I put myself out there, got a gym membership. When I'm out there, I'm working hard. I'm training. I'm there for an hour or 2. And it feels so good because it's part of my personal development and growth time. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm lifting weights. I'm coming up with ideas for business. When I'm on the bike, I'm writing memos in my phone. So it's a structure built in to help me get my crazy mind under control before I go into my workday and before I start doing coaching calls. So I get all of that out of the way, and that structure sets me up for success. So with these small tools that you guys have today, I'm just giving you this brief framework that you can use, starting by assessing where you're currently at, and then attending and just starting to identify what thoughts are coming up for you, what disempowering thoughts are coming up for you, what limiting beliefs are coming up, and these lies that just go on and on in our head. They've been going on in our head for a long time. So addressing those, and then starting into that recreation process, which is my favorite part. I've essentially recreated myself in the past 4 years, and I'm still going, and I'm still setting myself up to what I call my potential self, which is also something I learned at the retreat. I picked a name for my potential self. Sorry, my dogs just knocked things over because that's what happens. Little guys down here. I picked a name for my potential self, and I picked a name for the person who's talking to me when I'm having limiting beliefs, and I call that person Fat Janet. So this is also a tool you can use when you're lining things up. This is what my potential self would do and say and think, and this is what my self that wants to keep me small and to help me not reach my goals would say. So I'm constantly having conversations with Fat Janet saying, you know what? I appreciate your input, but right now we're going to go to the gym, Fat Janet. We're not going to go get frozen yogurt. Or we're going to go to sleep now. We're not going to watch Netflix. So I have to have this conversation with her because she's all about what feels good now. What can I do now? What can I have a distraction? And I'm all about future self, Cami, who has a different life, who has structure set up. So this is something you can do. I think it's a fun game. So this is your homework at the end of the podcast. Come up with a funny name to talk about your disempowering self or yourself that's trying to keep you kind of small. And then I even renamed myself. My future self is Carmen with a K. She is badass. She is ruthless when it comes to aligning with her values and her vision. And we will definitely get into values and vision whenever we have the boys on. We will have Joel Brown on, we will have Emil Steenfield on, and we have Ben Kelly on, and they will address each piece of the part of the retreat that they talked about. So definitely go and just search and see what they're all about. If you guys can't wait, go and look them up online, follow them on Instagram. They've got some great content out there, but I'm really looking forward to having them on the podcast as well. Again, guys, if you're listening to this week, you have one more week to get registered for the Create, Believe, Conquer retreat. It is in Wilmington, North Carolina, September 21st through 23rd. I am so excited for this. This is based off of a book I wrote 3 or 4 years ago called Create, Believe, Conquer. And it was a 40-day devotional. And guess what? Now I'm using the same concept, structuring it into an intimate retreat format. 2 nights. We all stay in a beach house together. And this is the time to get in when it's really small and intimate, because this thing's going to keep growing and growing and growing. But right now, we're getting in together in the beach house, and it's truly going to transform you. At the end, we'll have what we had similar to the Bali experience, which was at the end of our retreat. We had the Bali waterfall experience where it was kind of our place to let everything go that we were holding on to and to make that commitment to our future self. So we will be doing this in the ocean on the last day. We'll be having a really, really great experience around the ocean, and we will be definitely having a lot of spiritual transformations going on as well. So go to createbelieveconquer.org to get your tickets. And I do have a promotion for you. If you're bringing a friend, you guys will both get a deal on your discount. So I'm doing bundles for bringing a friend. So if you want to do that, message me, DM me on Instagram at Cami Kennedy. Let me know that you and a friend want to come to this retreat in Wilmington, North Carolina. And you guys, your lodging is included. Your 2-night stay in the beach house is included for the price. So guys, I can't wait to see you there. It's going to be phenomenal. I will see you soon.